What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Married to the Game, Utah State edition.
That's what I'm talking about.
However, it is a little bit of a tough time to be a Utah State basketball fan right now, so we're gonna bring the attitude down to a somber level, and we're gonna get real with you on Married to the Game. We're gonna have a very important adult discussion. So if there are kids nearby, please don't show it to them because we're gonna be talking about some. Not that kind of adult, obviously, but we are going to be talking about some things that may not be suitable for audiences under 13.
True.
We just lost 2 games in a row, boys.
Yep.
Lost to Grand Canyon, 84-74. Lost to UNLV at home, 86-76. We're now 15-3, 6-2 in the conference. We still hold the tiebreaker for second. But we've got 2 other teams that are tied with us in second, and we've got 2 teams after that. The 2 teams we lost to that are half a game behind us. So things are getting real for Utah State, and they're getting real fast. Zach, what do you make of Utah State's recent drought?
It's definitely a bummer. Those are both pretty close games that I would say 2 different stories for both of those games. The GCU game was definitely a slow start for the Aggies, and they definitely got working and back into it, but they were coming from behind for most of the time, and I think that's really what hurt them the most. The UNLV game, though, however, was just completely different instead. I mean, they started hot, cooled down. UNLV got back up into it. They took a lead again, and it just kept flip-flopping the entire game till finally Utah State just could not finish the game, and UNLV was shooting hot, and they put it away when they needed to. So it's a bit interesting. I guess I would have been more okay if I saw them lose the same way in both games. Then I could say, we need to work on this. But now it's honestly like, what do we need to work on? What more do we have to figure out?
It leaves you with this difficult sense of, exactly like you said, there are multiple problems that have presented themselves. It's not just one main problem. Because, Grand Canyon, I think the problem was they got down early and then they just got outworked, you know?
Yeah.
If you see the stat sheet for the last 3 games, really, Mason Falslev is all over the place on the stat sheet, which is great. Mason Falslev's a dog. He keeps playing like this the rest of the season. He's gonna take Player of the Year from MJ Collins. That being said, though, the last 2 games especially, he just has not been getting enough help. There just haven't been enough people doing enough things, and that's not just scoring. That's everything on the court.
And even MJ Collins, he's been averaging 20 this entire season.
He's dipped.
Looking crazy. The past 3 games where Falslev has stepped up, he's been down to 14, 12, and 14.
And I wouldn't be super worried about MJ Collins because he is still getting buckets. I think Nevada really exposed a weakness with MJ Collins. I think Nevada, and we won that game, but I think they figured out, hey, if you put multiple guys on him and you just hound him on defense the whole night, they're going to have to play through somebody else. And thankfully, we have Mason Falslev, but...
Yeah, that is the thing. I wondered if it was he wasn't making them or if they were guarding him really well. He hasn't taken as many shots, so I think they are guarding him incredibly hard. Yeah. And he went from 11, 14, and 13 shots a game to now only 9, 13, 13, and he's only made 3, 4, 5. So... He's definitely
his numbers
focus.
Are lower too. Yeah, and
Coach Calhoun even mentioned that Collins is now starting to get double teamed, and that's not something Collins has really experienced in the college game yet. And so I don't think this is how it's going to stay. But yeah, he hasn't hit 20 in a while. But Mason Falslev is now 3 games in a row with 20 points or more, which is an impressive stat because you throw 2-3 more onto there and he's leading the country almost because DeBonsa right now, not anymore as of this week, but he went on a tear with, was it 9 games in a row? And so it's 3 in a row is impressive. And I would expect him to hit 4 in a row, honestly. But yeah, it's just a Mason Falslev team, and everyone else is just not pulling their weight right now.
There's a couple of very, very sore spots that we are going to mention, and I know Jared Calhoun has quite literally said after the Grand Canyon game, he said, thankfully my guys won't be on Twitter anymore because they'll just see how much they suck. So if you're on the Utah State basketball team, and this is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this about our podcast, please get the heck out of here. We don't want to say or do anything that would make you second guess yourself. That being said, we are also men of the people, and we do have to tell the truth. And the cold, hard truth is Gary Clark should be getting more minutes.
Amen. Fetching man.
Played 6
Amen.
minutes
My
against
gosh.
UNLV. Didn't score. If you notice Gary Clark, though, he normally doesn't score in that first go-around on the court.
It takes him a little bit to get
And even
going.
then, even when he doesn't score, he rebounds. We got out-rebounded by UNLV 40-31. I believe that margin would not have been as high if Gary Clark had been in the game longer.
I was going to say,
Possibly not.
this might be a hot take, but I think Gary Clark is our best big man. Elman doesn't weigh enough. Elman's by far the best shooter.
But man,
But
it's fun to watch.
He's Gary Clark is the kind of guy where if someone's driving on him, I expect him to block him.
Gary
And
Clark's,
not get a foul.
yeah, I mean, they do different things, right? Because if you want an offensive big man, Gary Clark's not your guy.
Yeah.
He has shown the ability to
But
go
he
score.
Still scores a
He
lot.
does,
He
but
averages 8.
he does average 8.
And he was 9 before UNLV. Where
I
he
would
didn't
say
score any.
if,
All I'm
most
saying
average
is
situations,
I'd like to see Gary Clark on the
He
starting
needs,
lineup.
yeah, well, that's what I think what they should
Please,
do.
Calhoun.
Because you think Utah State, they were in a slump when they lost to South Florida, and then they won, what even is that? 8 games in a row after that game.
Yeah.
What they were doing in a lot of that time was they were starting, it seems like they started Carson Templin for a few games and had Clark come off the bench.
Mhm.
Seemed like that lineup worked really, really well.
Yeah, just
And so
Templin for the tip-off and
I would go back to that if I were Coach Calhoun. Gary Clark needs to play minutes, which means Zach Keller does not need to play minutes.
Zach Keller can enjoy the bench. I want him coming in after we're putting Barnes in.
I was gonna say, I think
that's
Keller.
That means we're up by 30.
I think Keller needs, and he puts a lot of effort in. We're not questioning his effort, but he needs to be like a Luke Kearney, Jordy Barnes kind of guy that just comes off the bench when we're blowing teams out, because it doesn't make
17
any
minutes,
sense
1
starting
point.
him. It's not. I mean, I understand you experiment with things as a coach, and you have to, because you're gonna have to make adjustments all season long as teams figure stuff out. But that unfortunately has, I think, come to a close. Moving on, though, we got Colorado State tomorrow night. If you're watching it today, it's tonight. You know what that means. If it's Friday, wherever you are at right now, 8 p.m. tonight.
Game day.
FS1. It's game day. It feels weird to say that because we're recording this on Thursday, but the spirit of game day lives on. Colorado State will just go over quickly since this is a very close game. Probably not a lot of people will see this before it gets out. Colorado State, we beat in Logan by 42 points. We go to one of the tougher environments in the Mountain West tonight, however.
Yeah, last time they played here wasn't a good turnout.
No, it was
It
not.
was bad. It was really bad.
But it was
really
also-
bad.
It was a really different team too, so
Yeah,
I can
Colorado
see it.
State was good.
Very
last year.
quickly,
Change up.
Zach, what are some of the things that stand out to you about this Colorado State team right now?
Right now the thing that I'm surprised about probably the most is that they haven't been able to continue that role that they've had at the beginning of the season. They looked really good coming into the beginning of the season. You can finally go into the conference play, and then that's where it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute, did this team sputter out, or what actually was going on? So I think seeing that kind of has been a little bit of a disappointment for them. But surprisingly, they've beaten the 2 teams that we just lost to. So it's like, I don't know.
Mountain West is a weird league, though, because we killed Boise and we beat Fresno pretty good, and they lost to both those teams.
So that's the Mountain West, but also
And then everyone beat Air Force. But
the team
Force.
knows how to win. The team knows how to get it done. But we'll see which Colorado State team comes to play. Is it the team that we saw in the preseason, or is it the team that Utah State faced just the last time they played?
Yeah. I think the thing that stands out to me is just we overmatch them on defense. We average 3.3 blocks to their 1.9 and 9.7 steals to their 5.5. And so if we can do the things we were doing against them in the spectrum, get out, force a lot of turnovers early, we should be okay in this game. But Kimball, what do you anything you want to add about how these teams kind of match up?
I mean, statistically, Utah State is way better than Colorado State. There's a reason why we beat them by 48 in Logan. Here's the thing, though, is Utah State needs to adapt. I think, like you were saying, teams have kind of figured us out and are shutting us down. Teams were better then. Teams were more talented then. Teams were, like, I just don't, we got to make a change. If we don't make an adjustment, Colorado State, playing at Colorado State, that's a game you can lose. And so that's what's scary. But I think adjustments will be made. I do think Calhoun is going to make the changes that need to happen. But, I mean, it's a scary game, but I just don't see Utah State losing this game. If we lose this game, oh my gosh, I'm done.
Pull the emergency alarm because it's going down now. Something's
Oh,
happening.
the alarm would be pulled. Just as an aside, the last time, it's been a couple years since we won in Fort Collins, and so we've lost our last 2 games there. We've lost, so it's not a terrible streak, but should be an interesting game. Before we pick that, we're going to get on to Utah State, Wyoming. It's the next game after. The following week, we may, depending on how our schedules line up next week, have a podcast episode before that. I'd say we probably don't. We probably would film like the day of that game, most likely. So we're going to talk about it now. Wyoming's 11-8, 2-6 in the Mountain West. They, like Colorado State, started off really hot. They've cooled down into Mountain West play. Most recently, they've actually lost 4 games in a row right now.
Not a great streak
So
right now.
not a good day for Wyoming. They have a game against San Jose State on Saturday. They should be able to get right and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, though, San Jose State's not much worse than they are. So we'll see. Wyoming, I've been impressed with this team so far this year. Obviously, they haven't been great in conference play. Lost by 3 to Fresno, just lost by 16 to Boise State. Killed by San Diego State. They did kill UNLV though. Weird league, man. Weird league. We like to cannibalize each other in the Mountain West, but I mean, I think this game, especially it being in the Spectrum, should be hopefully what you'd think kind of a get-back game for Utah State.
Yeah.
However, Wyoming, they're really well coached. Sundance Wicks, second-year coach at Wyoming. You have me on record saying it is the best name for a coach in college basketball. I have yet to hear a better one.
Absolute stud.
Sundance is a dope name. Like,
That is a cool
props
name.
to his and I looked him up, actually, because I heard an interview with him in the preseason or something. I consume a lot of really just weird college basketball content, but his parents legally named him Sundance. That's not like a nickname either, so
That's lit.
shout out Mr. and Mrs. Wicks. But yeah, I mean, another team we kind of outmatch statistically.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean,
Statistically,
yeah.
this team is very, very similar to Colorado
They're
State.
similar to Colorado State. They don't score quite as much. They get kind of stuffed in some of the other games, but should be pretty similar. Plus the Spectrum. It's kind of looking uplifting for the Aggies to kind of turn around these next few games.
Yeah, they have a couple of teams that are coming off some losses and some tough times, and so
Hey, we are
obviously
too.
Grand Canyon was getting hot. They are hot. They just beat San Diego State last night.
Frick
UNLV
Grand Canyon, man. Can I
UNLV
just
came
say
in.
it?
UNLV came in having won 2 in a row. I agree with that sentiment. Frick Grand Canyon. They are one of my least favorite schools in the country now.
If you like basketball in the state of Utah, just join the Lopes hate train because they knocked UVU out of the tournament last year.
Mm-hmm.
They talk a bunch of crap all week and beat us, knocking us out of the rankings. Not a fan. Not a
Plus
fan of this team.
Plus leaking teams' phone
I'll
numbers.
say their student section
Kind of a
commits a
dirty
Class A
move.
misdemeanor in Arizona. But
I'm just
whatever.
ready for them to come to Logan. I am sick and tired of these guys.
Yeah, but anyway, let's
Shut
pick
them
these
up.
games really quick just to get things going here so we don't spend too much time on this. You guys know I could talk all day, though. Utah State, Colorado State. Quickly give it to me, Kimball. Who wins?
I'm going to go Utah State on this one. 2 losses in a row. I think the team's going to be going through the ringer in practice. I think they're
yeah.
going to be ready to go. It's going to be a tough game, a close one. I think it's going to be kind of like the Nevada game where we're just like, we should be killing these guys, and we're just not. But I think we do escape that game with a win.
All right, Zach.
Yeah.
Utah State, Colorado State.
I think good turnaround for the Aggies. I think it's not going to look like the last time they played them, but I think you can look for a 10-point win with the Aggies.
I wouldn't predict a 10-point win. I think I'd be a little bit closer on Kimball's side. I don't think it's going to be like an insanely close. I think it'll be like 7 or 8 points. Utah State, they kind of play the foul game back and forth. And Utah State, 7 or 8 points, that's a comfortable win in college basketball. And so let's move on. Wyoming comes to the Spectrum, 7 p.m. on January 28th, next Wednesday. Kimball, who gets that one?
I think Utah State's going to kill them. I think this is a get your swagger back game. Wyoming is not good. Sure, they're on a 4-game losing streak, but we don't have to play them next. I think they do go beat San Jose State, and then they're not mad anymore. And so I think that's going to be a statement game for Utah State. 4 struggling games in a row, and then we just open up on Wyoming. Might be one of those games where we pass that 85-point mark, get some free Arctic Circle ice cream. Looking forward to it.
Some goods.
But give me Utah State big in that game. I think Wyoming's in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm probably never going to predict another 20-plus point win on this podcast just because it's gone too poorly for other people in the past. But I do think that it should, on paper, be a get-your-swagger-back game. I do agree with that. I think Wyoming's sneaky good, though. I do think they are the kind of team that can give you some problems just because of how well they're coached. They just don't score as much, but I really like the way this team's coached. I will take Utah State by 10 plus, but I do think early on in the game, especially, there may be a couple of problems if we're not careful. If we are careful, I think we can go in and we can just dog walk them. But what about you, Zach?
I think the Spectrum will be rocking, and not only from just the fans and the herd, but I think it will also be the Aggies that are they're speaking with their shooting, and they're going to put the game away, hopefully, pretty quick in the first half.
A couple episodes ago, Noah, when he picked against Utah State when we were going up to Boise State, he gave a warning. He was like, I've been a Utah State fan long enough to know that when it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And it did not manifest itself that game, but unfortunately it has. But I'm excited to see some wins.
They'll always let you down, but I am excited to see some wins.
Turn
get
around.
Comfortable again. Get the hope back up, and hopefully they don't let me down again in the future. They might, though. Really quick.
True, wasn't it?
really quick Utah State Aggie football portal update. I don't want to spend too much time analyzing this because we are running low on time. But Harrison Taggart, former BYU linebacker, comes to Utah State this week from Cal. Just wasn't getting the playing time he wanted there, and I suppose this was the best offer he had. So Utah State loads up at linebacker, puts in someone to pair with Bronson Olivau. Chapman Lewis, cornerback from Texas Tech, didn't play much this past year. Did play a little bit, played in the conference championship game against BYU, but was a main piece on their 2024 team that was solid as well. So he's back as well, or he's at Utah State now, rather, as a defensive back. And so really quickly, Kimball, few sentences, how would you sum up this Utah State portal class?
I was going to say, I want to focus, huge improvement, but I want to really focus on Harrison Taggart. For Utah State fans, I know we all hate BYU, right? But, this guy is probably the best pickup we've gotten. He is almost on par with guys like Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker. He is legit. I don't understand how we got him, but he is going to be our main defensive guy this year, and, he's good. He was borderline a starter with Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker, two of the best linebackers in the country. And it's I'm very excited. Utah State's defense just might be our strong point this next season.
Yeah.
And, we all know how bad it was this last year. So, phenomenal. If our offense can stay where we were, we're going to be competing for a Pac-12 championship. Our offense just has to be there. But our defense is going to be good. This is a huge pickup for Utah State.
I definitely agree. It should be fun. We also brought in a quarterback who just transferred from Virginia, so perhaps a little bit of competition for McKay Hillstead and Caleb Maryland there.
Quarterback battle.
Should be a fun time. We'll keep you guys updated on that as we go into the spring and summer workouts. That'll be a while down the road still, though. If you want to keep up with all things Utah State Aggies, though, you know where to click. Subscribe button right below my hat there. Maybe it's to that side. Maybe it's to that side. We'll see how this gets framed. Bell, that just notifies you when we post, which we do post weekly. Leave a comment about your excitement about Harrison Taggart. If you know Harrison Taggart, there are friends of the program who know him. Tell him we say hello and welcome to Utah State. We're going to catch you guys next time on Married to the Game. See you later.